isn't talked about a whole lot, but it's one that I had an experience with before I took the intuitive intensive. And to be quite honest, it scared the daylights out of me. It's called psychometry. And I don't want to say like it's an old school thing because it's not, but it was more common. It seems like it was more common back in the day. Um, so I have had an idea of my own intuitive abilities since I was a child. I went through periods of time where I would block them out, and then they would happen so strong it would come at, come big again, and I would not know how to handle it, and so I would push it back again, and then it would come back again, and I would just push it back. And I did that off and on throughout my whole life. Up about a year before I did the 2019 intuitive intensive, so it was about 2018, I purchased a buffet, one of those big antique buffets from a friend of mine. And she's a real good friend of mine, and I was super stoked because I like to redo furniture. So I do a lot of refinishing and painting, chalk painting, things like that, for old pieces of furniture. So I was so excited to do this. My husband and I went and picked it up, brought it back, set it in the garage. It's this big honking thing. And the next day I had plans with that bad boy. My kids were at school, husband's at work, I'm home alone, everything's grand. The garage door was closed. I went into the garage and I was trying to think, okay, what colors, what am I, and I'm a visual person. So I ran my hands across the top just like that. Like I stood at one end and I just glided my hand across the top of it. And all of a sudden, like literally right in my face was a face of a woman. My hand came up off that buffet like it was on fire. And I stood there for a second and I thought, what the heck? And then I ran up into the house and shut the door. I was like, that's not going to work. So I came in and I sat at my bar stools in my kitchen and I was like, well, shit, what am I going to do now? And if I tell anybody about it, they're going to think I'm nuts. So I was like, okay, well, I think that if you smudge something, we can get rid of that. Where am I going to get some of that? So I went to Google and I looked up a place, and there's a place called Mustard Seed by Us. It's like a holistic grocery store. And so I drove there and I got some white sage. That's all I got at the grocery store. I was so like, people are going to think I'm crazy buying this white sage, like, now I'm like, whatever. And so, but I bought that and I came home. I opened up the garage door and I just looked at it and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to follow my instinct. So I shut the garage door and came into the house, worked up some nerves. And I prayed. I was like, God help me. I don't know who this woman is. I really like this buffet. We're gonna have to learn how to cohabitate here. And so I went out into the garage with my lighter and my sage, and I lit it. And I stood there with that burning leaf bundle, and I looked at this buffet, and I immediately, like, my heart, now I call it a squishy heart. It started to, like, I could start to feel that energy here. And I thought, you know what? This woman is here because she loves this buffet. She was probably just as excited to get this buffet as I am today. And as I walked over, I got real brave, put my big brave girl pants on, and I walked over and I put my hand across it again. And as I did so with this sage in my hand, I said, I just want you to know that I really appreciate this buffet. And I think it's beautiful, and I'm going to take good care of it. And I'm going to give it like a renewal and a new life. And I want it to match my house. So please don't get offended by that, but I am going to paint it. And so I opened up each cupboard. There's two big cabinets on the side and a couple drawers. So I opened up each one and I went in and around, and I just said, I love you and thank you for allowing me to have this buffet. Thank you for taking such a good care of it so that I could experience it. And as I went through each drawer and pulled it out and went into the table and did the drawer separately and then into the second part and put the drawer over, I really began to feel a peace that I knew part was my own, but it was also part of her. And it was absolutely beautiful because now when I look at that buffet, sorry, Spirit's already here, so my mouth is like super dry. When I look at that buffet, there's not one single time that I don't look at that buffet and think of her face. It was so, so that was my third eye. It was intuition that told me this face is connected to this table, because as soon as this hand took this, it was just like, so that would be called psychometry. It's when you are picking up psychically, intuitively, information about an object, and that object holds energy. Objects hold energy. I am a big antique girl. I love antiques. This weekend, I was talking to a friend. I had rearranged our office downstairs and got rid of some things, some decorations, and I kind of like have a hoarding problem. I go shopping in the basement. But anyway, I did that, and I was like, you know, changing out pieces, this, that, and the other, and I put this old, it's like my shelf for my cards that I had behind me. I had one of those in the office as well on top of the desk holding some knickknacks. And I could never figure out why, like, the office kind of gave me the willies, but like I would just turn around and be like, Dominion, bye, like whatever, you can't touch me. I don't know, you know, but I didn't really, I noticed that I never really stopped and took control and was like, excuse me, what is it in here? You got to go. So that was my bad. But this weekend I did that because I was under the desk fixing all of the wires because it looked like Griswold's Christmas under there. And I kept feeling like somebody was behind me, and I kept like looking behind me and looking behind me, and nobody was there. And suddenly it dawned on me, it was this piece of wood. It was the same thing I got from Amish country, just like I did the shelf for my cards. I got them all on the same day. I saged the one that I put my cards on, but I didn't do that for the one in the office. Why? I don't know. And so I just didn't think of it. And so as I realized, I turned around and I thought, that's that same feeling I get at night when I'm shutting things off, when I'm closing down the house, when I'm really getting ready to walk upstairs to go to my room and go to bed for the night. I realized that had some energy, some psychometry. So I didn't bother. I was like, I'm not in the mood. I don't want to know. I don't like the way you feel. You're going into the garage and I'm smudging you too. So it was a learning experience for myself because I just got so used to, because it's something that I've done my whole life. I've gotten used to just dealing with the functified feeling that I literally go through the motions. But if someone else were to tell me this, I would be like, well, you better show your dominion and tell them who's boss and get them up and out. So it was just interesting for me. So what I've learned about myself is I'm very, 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 very sensitive to energy, which I knew. People, places, objects, but I'm very sensitive to objects. I'm very sensitive to the energy that is held within objects, or that can be attached to objects. And so I really wanted to talk about that today, because I know that if I'm, you know, I'm not like a big, huge professional. Obviously, I'm still learning. But if I'm in a place to be teaching, I feel sometimes I would hold okay, Spirit's like, I do hold myself to a higher standard when it comes to myself. And that's why I got so annoyed with myself today or this weekend for letting that slide for so long. And so I thought, shame on me for doing that. But it made a really good learning experience for myself also to tell to my kids, to say, you know, if something just doesn't give you the good willies, don't deal with it. Just deal with it, like whatever. You got to actually actively deal with it. So I wanted to share that message with you guys as well, because I feel like that's very important. And I feel like that I cannot be the only one who just kind of oh, it'll be fine. We're just going to go with it type deal. And so if there's something in your home that gives you funky feelings, if there is an object, let's say it's picked up secondhand, it can be even passed down from, a relative, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, a great 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 so and so. Furniture is a lot of times handed down through families. It's a lot of time upcycled, recycled. We found it at Goodwill. We found it at the secondhand shop. Bring it home. That's fine as long as you cleanse and clear that. If you're sensitive to energy, even if you're not, you might have other people in your home that are. So if you're hip to this type of thing, I just want to suggest to you to go ahead and do that. Within the last few years, it's been very hard. My best friend and I always have this tradition. We go to, it's called Amish country around here, but we go down and we go shopping, and we don't go to I don't know, like all of the main, like there's a main strip, it's called Berlin in Ohio. We don't go to the main strip, we go to the outskirts where all like the good stuff is. And probably the last 3 years we've gone, I've been getting like the willies, and she just makes fun. She's like, come on girl, like what are you picking up? And I'm like, that can't. And it's weird because that started happening before I actually connected all of my abilities in with the intuitive intensive. So when I took the intuitive intensive, there was a whole lot of things that I learned about myself that I already knew about myself. I just needed some words to connect them, and that validation to let me know, like, yeah, that's a thing. You're not cuckoo. You're not crazy. You're not, you're not making it up in your head. It's real. So I just wanted to give you guys that, like, I want to give you some power and let you know, like, if there's objects in your home, you walk past them, you start to notice, or there's a room in your home that sometimes just makes you feel a little weird, stop and go in there and just take your time and look around, look at the different pieces of your, furniture. Every night when I go to bed, I come up and I lay in bed, and I think I walk through my house in my third eye, in my imagination eye. And I make sure that there's no beings in my home because I live with 2 other little mediums. And so I just like to make sure that my whole perimeter is clear. Well, what I wasn't doing when I would walk through my rooms in my mind, I was looking at, like, I would go through and I would look at all the corners, down the walls, on the floor, like maybe behind things in my mind as I would walk from room to room to room, just to kind of do a sweep, like a security sweep. But I wasn't, and I thought, well, why didn't I ever pick up on that in the office? I wasn't really looking at the furniture. I wasn't really looking at the knickknacks. So it's kind of changed the way I do my own energy work in my home, the way I run Dominion for myself and for my spaces, and the objects and things like that. Even though this woman was not mean in the slightest way, I actually just had like that little heart connection with her. Like, I love this piece and I know you did too. And so I'm going to take care of it for you, but I don't really want you to come with me. So I'm very thankful for her. I'm very thankful that she took such a good care of a piece of furniture that I can enjoy in my home. And I will absolutely post a picture of it, probably in the, I don't know if I can do that here. I know Ari does that. I don't know how Ari does that. I will go back and post a picture of it in my announcements, and in the announcement to go live this morning, and also in the comments later. So check back for that if you want to see the buffet. It's painted, but it was with the first picture I took of it after I painted it and stuck it in the dining room. So okay. So that being said, I just wanted to share this a little bit of psychometry. One of the ways that you can do psychometry, if you're interested in picking up some of the information, let's say you have a, give me something, I don't know. Let's say this bottle of essential oil is old, and you want to maybe see if you can get any information from it. So what you would do is you would just place it in your hand, and you would quiet your mind and slow your breathing and close your eyes, and you would just wait. just patiently wait and see what comes. Is it something that you're seeing? Are you hearing words? Are you hearing sounds? Are you feeling things in your body? And that's kind of the way that psychometry works. It doesn't always work super fast, like just scraping your hand across something. It can be, in your room, it can give you that vibe. So it's it's interesting. If your body is sensitive to energy like that, you will learn to pick it up. It might come slow at first. It doesn't always come super fast, and that's okay. So just kind of, you can even sit there with a notepad if you want, if you're afraid you're going to forget things, and just kind of spend some time with that object, looking at it, feeling it, seeing it. What is it showing? What is it showing you? What is it sharing with you? um, Maybe it's a movie clip, maybe it's an experience, maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's an emotion, things like that. So yeah, so that